Yeah, it took 2 penalties, both won by Alejandro Garnacho for United to get the win today. But did it feel like an important 3 points?
Yeah, I think it's very important always to win the games, the 3 points. We lost the last 2 games, I think, so it's important to be there. So we want to be in the Champions League next season, so very happy.
Yeah, did this feel like a game you had to win to keep your hopes alive of qualifying? Did this feel like a game you had to win in order to keep your hopes alive of qualifying for the Champions League?
Yeah, now every game, the manager said it's a final. We have to win every single game. We are Manchester United, so the job is done.
For you personally as well, what does your manager ask of you out here every time you step out onto the pitch? Because you've become such a vital part of this team.
Yeah, the manager, he always wants me to go 1v1, to shoot, to do some dribbles, and today I won the 2 penalties, so it's important to help the team also.
And Bruno Fernandes took the first penalty. He gave the second penalty to Marcus Rashford. Was that something that was always planned in the team?
No, Bruno is the captain. He always on pens. If Bruno is not playing, Rashi is the second one. So to him, it's not a problem. We are family, so it's not no worries.
The fans behind us here at Old Trafford are singing your name. It's always lovely for you to be here in front of the home fans, isn't it?
Yeah, still like a dream. Is with my age, full Old Trafford saying my name is incredible. So I'm very, very proud. I'm very happy.
Well, congratulations. You are the man of the match today. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, they've taken him to his hearts at Old Trafford, and he's responded, as we said before kick-off, 25 games in a row. He's now started in all competitions for Manchester United. They love a young player, they love a teenage talent, and they've certainly got one with Alejandro Garnacho. And as you rightly say, I mean, he was the real positive, the real standout today for United.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think any young player, you got to play like that. You got to play aggressive. You got to play hungry. You got to make runs. And Alejandro Garnacho, whether goals or assists, he's always trying to make things happen. And I love that. And the reason he starts 25 games in a row is because he deserves it. Right now, he's one of Manchester United's best players by a country mile. And even though if you play him in different positions, he's still effective. I thought him and Bruno were by far the best 2 players on the pitch.
Having said that, Everton's challenges on him, were they a little bit ill-disciplined for the penalties?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him credit. I mean, he's getting the ball into the positions, his swivels, the drop of his shoulder. He's a player of real quality on those positions. But you can't just dangle a leg and hope. You can't hope when you're in the penalty area and you're tackling Garnacho. And you see him winning that challenge there with James Garner. I think there's a few unhappy. I think Sean Dyche wasn't happy about that at half-time. But he continues the run from there. He's not happy to just sit and watch what he's already done. He's getting into positions. And yes, he can drop his shoulder, but for considering the position they are in the penalty area, that's such a silly tackle.
But you know the problem with playing a kid like Garnacho is he can go both ways. He can go left and he goes right. So it makes the defenders really not sure. A lot of players really only want to go one way. I think for Garnacho, he can chop both ways, and it puts a lot of pressure on the defender. That's why they get off balance and then they dangle a leg. But you wouldn't want to play again. Even that clip, he wins the ball in midfield, He surprises the defender, and then he surprises the defender in the box. And that's what we're saying, stay active, be aggressive. It's the only way to play.
29 penalties from 33, incidentally, now for Bruno Fernandes. All-time record penalty taker for Manchester United now. He's beaten the record of Ruud van Nistelrooy. What did you make of him giving the second penalty to Marcus Rashford after another challenge on Garnacho?
I don't mind it. You know, he's a captain. I like his... I love that flick around the corner from Bruno. And that's the thing, when he plays as a false 9, he can come a little bit deeper, and then the other players got to make runs. And Scott McTominay did that brilliant today. But it's all about Garnacho. You know, he's so positive. And in the end, I don't know why the Everton players are tackling there.
There's real panic because of the fact they're all running back to the goal. There's only Ben Godfrey really facing...
He's not going anywhere.
And ready for it. But look at the skill, and I'm calling it skill because it is skill, to be able to beat that many players without actually really touching the ball. It's all about dropping the shoulder and a wiggle of the body to get in there. And yeah, then they had the conversation about who was going to take it.
Like that.
You'd usually expect Bruno to take it after having took the first and scored, but you know, they did that at Goodison, strangely enough, in the return fixture where I think they were 2-0 up at the time and gave Marcus Rashford the penalty, and on each occasion he's dispatched it, which is a sign of confidence on the penalty spot.
If they want to get into the top 4 and get into the Champions League plays, they need Marcus to score a few more goals. If you're trying to get Marcus a little bit more confidence, I don't mind that. A lot of people say, no, you're the penalty taker, take responsibility. But if you want to get one of your best players, Marcus, a bit more confidence, squad, I don't mind it.
There won't be many of our former colleagues who would have been on penalties who would have relinquished them to a teammate without naming any names. So it is an unusual talent to have.
Yeah, but those guys, goal scorers, are actually very selfish. Midfield players, we're more generous. We like to be team players.
I wasn't anywhere near the penalty spot. Everybody could have the penalty as far as I was concerned.
Your former team were again today, though. When you look back at these clips and wonder how on earth they haven't scored.
Yeah, I think if you have one of these chances in a game, you probably expect to score. To have 4 and 5 of these chances in a game, you start really wondering how someone take responsibility, get on the end of that. That's a beautiful delivery into that position. Surely you've got to know where that ball is arriving on your head, Onana, or if it is your feet, you're taking it. You've got to make a decision early. Everyone's reactive. Everton's sort of surprised that we've got ourselves into this position, and it shouldn't be surprised because Everton keep getting to these moments. Garner could have a shot. There's an opportunity inside the penalty area on his favoured left foot, and just not finding corners, not finding the goal.
No, that needs. You just need to shape that. You know, like that.
It was a hopeful finish.
They're hitting hope. That's what a lot of these are. You see a lot of the top players against these positions. They have a picture of what they want. You know, look how many bodies they have in the box. More than enough. I mean, that one was amazing.
It's borderline comedy that, you know, the Dominic Calvert-Lewin couldn't get across for the first one. He's not even looking when the second one comes in. Young Dobbin misses it. This is a guy who makes his living from heading the ball and scoring headed goals, and that's passed back to the goal in there enough. You know, it's like cushion back. You've got to score these opportunities. It's banging your head against the wall. It's the cake without the ice, and it's a lot of good things within an Everton performance without the most important thing, which is actually scoring goals.
And there was smoke coming out of your laptop in the second half because you were like that back on the XG that you went to the first half, shaking your head in disbelief. So take it away.
Well, it's even worse now, isn't it? I mean, you know, Everton should now have near 44 goals. They've only got 29 goals. I mean, yes, it's 14.3 negative difference in chances. And just look at the difference between the next team. You know, Brentford and Chelsea could say that they're not having a good season with regards to converting the chances that they created. Everton's is dreadful.
But there was a lot of enthusiasm.
There's an awful lot of enthusiasm. But Everton are just lacking a confident striker or two. Just somebody in there.
It's not about one player here, though, is it? I mean, we've just seen those clips. They're falling to everybody.
But the problem is you look at City, they get the ball into De Bruyne, and he's kind of the creator. None of those guys are really comfortable in being creators. Andre Goga came on, and I thought he did. I think they should just go 4-4-2. Get the ball wide and cross it. They don't really... When they have too much of the ball, Everton, they're not really effective. They're better off just getting the ball forward quicker, get it in the box, and I think they're a little bit more effective.
Yeah, but you're saying it's not about one player. Sometimes it can be. If you know, strikers...
I'm just thinking that Arsenal, for the minute, are scoring goals for fun without a centre-forward. Everybody's chipping in, aren't they?
It always takes that first person to... Well, the form Everton are in and where they're at the minute, they need that first person to start being the one that they can rely on. And suddenly, once you start relying on somebody, everyone else gets a bit more calm around them. You know, we had, for instance, in my day, Yakubu was a guy who was scoring a brilliant amount of goals at times. And that meant everybody else could just contribute. There's no real pressure that you have to convert this chance because he's the goal scorer. And we'll score the goals as and where we need them. And then suddenly you come a few weeks later and you've got 8 or 9 goals yourself all around it. But the main man takes the responsibility, and Everton haven't got one that is scoring goals at the minute. Dominic's got 3. Beto, I think, has got 2. They're strikers. You need them. You need them on minimum 10 goals in the season at this stage. Minimum.
And this was the first of 3 consecutive away games today. Bournemouth and Newcastle next. I tell you something, when you look at those home games, though, Ozzy, they look crucial, don't they? Burnley, Forest, Brentford, all to go to Goodison. Yeah, and they'll know exactly what to do when they come to Goodison is, you know, don't give too many chances away, be hard to play against because Everton are better when they've got spaces to run into. It's all about conversion. I actually think Everton will go and do OK in those away games. I think they'll be able to come and set up structured like they've done at Old Trafford, create chances. They'll play from a good base. They'll be organised. Just need to score goals. And, you know, the longer you go without it, the closer you get to that relegation line where Luton were to win today. Suddenly you're now looking over your shoulder. That puts even more pressure on the next time a chance comes your way, that you start to realise the ramifications of missing chances and missing opportunities.
Yeah, I just think they need to change some. I thought today they actually played really well, but it looks like they lack a little belief in that, just in that last part. Find a ball and maybe take that away from them. You know, maybe play a little bit different, get it forward quicker. I think that the less of it sounds ridiculous, the less of the ball they have near the box, the more effective they are. I just think that they're better when they get it forward quick and in transitions.
What's the XG in possession? No, manager. Right, frustration for Sean Dyche today, but a return to winning ways for Manchester United manager. Here he is, Erik ten Hag.
Congratulations. Was that a much-needed 3 points today?
Every game we have to win. So every game is a must-need.
The guys have just been saying how important Alejandro Garnacho has become to your team. Has he become a vital part of that attack?
He's progressing very well. And we are very pleased with this. And I think his contribution today again was huge with his runs, with his dribbles. It's good, attractive as well for the audience. Also, we want to show something. But yeah, we're great dribbles. I think well-deserved penalties.
Overall, in the performance today, do you feel like the levels were where you would like them to be?
In areas, yes. Especially in our attacks, in our counter-attacks. I think we had very good breaks. Sometimes we can make better choices to rest on the ball in such moments where we can't go for goal. But we had very good breaks. We could easily score 3-4 goals instead of the 2 from the penalties. We defended very well, but in the build-up, I think we can be more, calm and composed on the ball. Everton did well, good high pressing, but that gives a lot of opportunities in behind, and we had very good runs in behind, and so we created a lot of chances as well.
Bruno Fernandes scores the first penalty, but he chose to give the second one to Marcus Rashford. Is there a feeling amongst the team that they need to rally around Marcus Rashford at this time?
No, he's good in the game, he's good in the team, and it shows the team spirit. Again, so Bruno took the first, but we have more very good penalty takers. And Bruno, Resi, Casemiro, so we have more. And so after the first one, also he did this in Everton. He also gave the penalty to Resi. In that period, he had a difficult time, but in this moment, he's good. He's in the team. He has a good spirit. He has a threat. So, yeah.
A clean sheet today, but across the last 6 Premier League games, your team have faced 134 shots. Are those numbers worrying for you?
We defended very well. I think when you see the XG, it's much higher than them. And it are low quality chances, and sometimes we're defending very low, and we can do that very well, as we showed last week against City, also today with our moments. And you know from Everton, they do it very well, bring the ball very direct. But as I said, I think all over we defended well.
Up next for Manchester United, Liverpool in the FA Cup. United's last chance this season to get silverware. What does a result like this today do for you heading into that one?
First, we focused on this game, and it was important. We had one bad result against Fulham. We had to put that right in this calendar year and to keep the pressure on the teams above us. And it can happen a lot. Season, many games to play. And everyone is killing everyone. So now, we are back. Keep pressure on them, and we will see what happens.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, as you can see, the next 2 games at Old Trafford for Manchester United are both against arch rivals Liverpool. 8 points off the top 4, having played a game more. Are they playing well enough, consistent enough to even be in that discussion?
No. I'm amazed that they're there anyway, the way they played all season. But somehow they found a way with some individuals helping them win games. But I don't think they're playing to the level that he envisioned at the start of the season. After getting into the top 4 last season, everybody, rightly so, lauded him and the team. But this season just hasn't really gone according to plan. But they're there. They're in with a chance to potentially get there. I don't think they're going to get it done unless they improve significantly in the last 10 games. But they're in there with a chance, and that's all you can ask for. And
all they can do is do their job, as he said. Obviously, 4th play 5th tomorrow with Villa against Spurs. So if United are consistent, they might just be in with a shout.
Yeah, but that's been their issue, consistency. They have shown at times this season that they can be a very good outfit. They've some games, some performances have been outstanding, but there's been a lot that have been quite flat. And today they were fortunate to get over the line because they showed the quality at the top end of the pitch. But there's been quite a few of these games where they've been far from the levels. You can make excuses. No Højlund, no Martinez, Shaw's out injured. They are missing some big players. But I think when you look at the teams they're up against, your Spurs, your Villas and the top teams above them, they still get the job done. They still look like an outfit. They still, even when they've got injuries and changes, they still kind of perform at a similar level. And Manchester United are too inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Ten Hag, he'll be worried about just kind of the inconsistencies. The Fulham game was a surprise after a good run of form. Today they found a way to get a result, even though they didn't play that well. Hopefully they can get the players back. Shaw and Martinez, that they make a huge difference. I think Onana, that's a plus. He's playing a lot better lately, and get Højlund back. Try and finish the season strong. That top four is within touching distance, so they got to have a go.
OK, so Manchester United beating Everton gets us off and underway on this Premier League Saturday. Next up,
Thoughts about Manchester United and Everton. The erstwhile great Manchester United are still seesawing. A draw with Spurs on the 14th of January saw them win 5 straight games, albeit most of them just barely. Then came the awful loss to Fulham on the 24th of February, in which they played a lacklustre game. Then came Sunday's derby, where they lose 1-3 to the current league champions Manchester City, a game where they go a goal ahead, defend brilliantly for 50 minutes, eventually capitulating to the obviously better class of their rival. Regarding the manager Erik ten Hag, there are still many complaints from pundits left and right. The lack of clear sense of direction or style of play, lack or poor quality of man management, and constant poor recruitment of players. Since the 25% takeover of Man United by Jim Ratcliffe, it was hoped that Man United will progress to a more successful direction under his watch. Some pundits even think that Ten Hag might even be replaced come next season. Yet the stats show that he did not do too badly. He managed 61 wins in all competitions in his first 100 games, which actually is better record than either Mikel Arteta with 54 and Jurgen Klopp with 50. What can be said about Everton? They were deducted 10 points for breaking financial rules, taking them to the relegation zone. They appealed and got it reduced to 6 points and are now in 16th position with 5 points from safety. Yet there is another potential points deduction on the way. What a nightmare it must have been for the club and supporters. You cannot help but sympathise with their frustrations off the field, which can have disastrous consequence on the playing field. To put it mildly, the manager, Sean Dyche, and the team are in a tough position. There is the possibility of a second points deduction, but nobody knows when that will come. To make matters worse, the club already had a deal for an American firm to take over the club, which was kept in abeyance. Could not be a worse time for Everton fans.